Mark Bolan and T-Rex are names forever etched in the annals of British rock history. Behind the glitter and glam, Bolan's journey was one of dazzling highs and heartbreaking lows, a story of meteoric fame, fierce rivalries, and a tragic end that stunned the music world. Born Mark Feld, Bolan's life was as dramatic and colorful as the sparkling stage persona he crafted. This short video delves deep into the life, career, and legacy of Mark Bolan and T-Rex, exploring the man behind the sequins, his complex relationship with David Bowie, and the fateful night that ended his vibrant life. From Hackney to stardom, the early years of Mark Bolan. Mark Feld entered the world on 30th of September 1947 in post-war Hackney, East London, a far cry from the glamorous stages he would one day command. Born to a Jewish father, Simeon Sidfold, a lorry driver, and an Anglican mother, Phyllis, Mark's early life was modest and marked by the bomb-scarred streets of London. Yet, from a young age, Bolan showed signs of being destined for something extraordinary. He often escaped bullying by adopting larger-than-life alter egos, drawing inspiration from fantasy novels and rock and roll icons like Bill Haley, Elvis Presley, and Little Richard. One pivotal moment came when his father brought home a record of Rock Around the Clock. Bolan was instantly captivated, a spark ignited that would fuel his lifelong passion for music. His school years were turbulent. Expelled after a confrontation with a headmaster, Bolan turned to fantasy literature and music with renewed fervor. He formed bands from a young age, including a skiffle group and a quirky schoolgirl outfit band called Susie and the Hula Hoops, foreshadowing his flair for the theatrical. His talent and charisma caught the attention of London's underground music scene, setting the stage for a remarkable career. The birth of Mark Bolan and the rise of T-Rex. Mark Feld's transformation into Mark Bolan was as much about image as it was about music. The origin of his stage name remains debated, with some suggesting it's a nod to Bob Dylan, but Bolan himself claimed it was simply a cool-sounding name given by his record label. Early singles like Hippie Gumbo failed to chart, but Bolan's persistence paid off as he became a fixture in London's bohemian underground. He briefly joined mod band John's Children, notorious for their wild on-stage antics, before forming the acoustic psychedelic duo Tyrannosaurus Rex with percussionist Steve Peregrine Took. Their mystical, fairy tale-inspired music earned them a cult following among Britain's hippie scene, with Bolan's poetic lyrics drawing heavily from Tolkien and Celtic mythology. The real turning point came in 1969 when Mickey Finn replaced Took, and the band electrified their sound, shortening their name to the sleeker T-Rex. This shift marked the birth of glam rock, with Bolan leading the charge. His glittering performances, flamboyant outfits, and catchy boogie tunes like Ride a White Swan and Hot Love captivated teenage Britain, sparking a cultural phenomenon that rivaled the Beatles in popularity. The glam rock king and his cultural impact. By 1972, T-Rex was unstoppable. Albums like Electric Warrior and the Slider topped charts, and singles such as Get It On, Bang a Gong, and Telegram Sam became anthems. Bolan's glitter-dusted cheekbones, satin trousers, and playful androgyny challenged societal norms, inspiring a generation to dream in neon colors. His influence was so profound that Ringo Starr directed the documentary Born to Boogie to capture Bolan's Beatlemania-like hold on fans. Television appearances, like the glitter-drenched performance of Children of the Revolution alongside Elton John, cemented his status as glam rock's charismatic figurehead. Yet his flamboyance also provoked controversy, such as the infamous moment when a toy Roman breastplate slipped to reveal a nipple on national TV, sparking outrage among conservatives but endearing him further to his fan base. Mark Bolan and David Bowie, a complex friendship and rivalry. Among the defining relationships of Bolan's life was his complicated friendship with David Bowie. The two met as teenagers during the mod era, with Bolan famously critiquing Bowie's shoes on their first encounter. Despite the rocky start, they became close friends and occasional collaborators, though their competitive spirits often clashed. Bolan initially saw himself as the bigger star and did not hesitate to belittle Bowie, even hiring him as a mime opening act for T-Rex tours, a decision that resulted in Bowie being booed by Bolan's fans. However, the dynamic shifted dramatically by the early 1970s, as Bowie's Ziggy Stardust persona catapulted him to international superstardom. The two rivals ran neck and neck on the charts in 1973, with Bowie's Life on Mars and Bolan's 20th Century Boy both reaching number 3. Bowie even paid tribute to Bolan with the song Lady Stardust, a wistful nod to the glam rocker's influence. Yet, as Bowie's star soared, Bolan's began to falter, foreshadowing a shift in the glam rock landscape. The downward spiral, fame, excess, and personal turmoil. At the height of his fame, Bolan was a glittering icon, but behind the scenes, his life was unraveling. His marriage to June Child deteriorated amid his womanizing and drug use. The once slender and ethereal Bolan gained weight, lost focus, and became increasingly difficult to work with. Producer Tony Visconti recalled the frustration of trying to work with Bolan during this period, describing him as lost in a haze of cocaine and alcohol. The media turned on him, with critics mocking his appearance and performances. Terms like sparkly sausage and faded old tart stung deeply, shaking Bolan's confidence. His reluctance to reinvent himself musically cost him dearly as glam rock's popularity waned, replaced by heavier rock, disco, and the emerging punk movement. Despite these challenges, Bolan found some redemption in the mid-1970s. The birth of his son Roland, with Gloria Jones, a soulful American singer who became his partner, brought new purpose. The move to Los Angeles marked a fresh start, and Bolan slimmed down, cut his hair, and focused on songwriting again, producing the darker, more reflective album, Dandy in the Underworld. The final act, a comeback, and a tragic end. By 1977, Bolan was staging a comeback. Embracing the punk movement he once might have scorned, he invited The Damned to open for T-Rex during his UK tour, showing a keen sense of staying relevant. Friends described him as almost humble, fit, and creatively re-energized, with the cheekbones coming back and a renewed excitement for music. His own TV show, Marc, debuted in August 1977, introducing him to a new generation. The show was a joyous mix of music and skits, featuring up-and-coming punk bands and a final special guest appearance by David Bowie. Their on-stage reunion was a poignant moment, highlighted by an amusing fall from the stage that captured Bolan's playful spirit and Bowie's genuine affection. The tragic final hours. Just days after the TV show taping, tragedy struck. On the early morning of 16 September 1977, Bolan and Gloria Jones left a celebratory night in London's West End. Bolan, who had never learned to drive due to a lifelong fear of car crashes, trusted Gloria behind the wheel of his purple Mini 1275 GT. Approaching a notorious accident black spot on Queen's Ride near Barnes Common, the Mini failed to navigate a curve and crashed violently into a sycamore tree. The impact was catastrophic. Bolan, seated beside the driver, was killed instantly, his life cut short just 2 weeks shy of his 30th birthday. Gloria survived with serious injuries but was unconscious at the scene. The crash shocked the music world. David Bowie, then in New York, was devastated, reportedly breaking down in tears. Bolan's funeral was held quietly at Golders Green Crematorium, attended by family, friends, and fellow rock stars. Bowie paid tribute, calling Bolan the greatest little giant in the world. capturing the paradox of a diminutive man with an outsized presence. Legacy and remembrance. Mark Bolan's death left a void in the world of rock music, but his influence endures. Fans annually gather at the crash site, now known as the Bolan Tree, decorating it with flowers and glitter in tribute to their fallen hero. His son, Roland, was supported by Bowie, who honored a promise to Bolan by setting up a trust fund to help Gloria and Roland financially. A quiet act of friendship that only came to light years later. Bolan's life was a saga of fantasy and fallibility, a tale of a cosmic dancer who taught us all to boogie. His impact on British music, particularly the glam rock era, remains profound, inspiring countless artists and fans alike. While he never achieved the same global fame as Bowie, within the UK, Mark Bolan and T-Rex were arguably more beloved than even the Rolling Stones or Led Zeppelin during their peak. Conclusion. The story of Mark Bolan and T-Rex is one of brilliance and tragedy, glitter and grit. From his humble beginnings in Hackney to the dizzying heights of glam rock superstardom, Bolan's journey was marked by creativity, rivalry, and personal demons. His friendship and competition with David Bowie added a rich layer of complexity to his legacy. Though his life was tragically cut short, Bolan's music and spirit live on. His pioneering glam rock style challenged conventions and opened doors for future generations. The tale of his final hours, while heartbreaking, only solidified his place in rock history as an eternal 20th century boy who taught the world how to boogie. For those who want to explore the full depth of Mark Bolan's life and the story behind the legend, his early acoustic days, the rise of T-Rex, and the bittersweet end, there is much to discover and celebrate in the legacy of this glittering rock icon.